Well, yesterday I happened to be strolling down one of the social media apps, and I found my brother who was doing a live stream with other concrete guys and company owners, landscapers, estimators, and all kinds of and people in that kind of work, the trades. And I just got in the live stream. I wasn't actually on the chat. I was just reading all the comments and listening to it. And I heard this young man, he's early 20s, and he asked the guys a question. It's older guys, and he said, "What do you guys think about a guy that's late sometimes?" And he's talking about himself because he clarifies that. But I'm still the best worker there. They rely on me. Nobody really has initiative. Things don't really get rolling till I get there, and I'm still there. They haven't fired me, but I'm late a lot. He said, but not hours late. I'm just late. And all the guys start give him grief about it. And I'm listening to these older guys telling this young man all the regular stuff that you're used to hearing. And so my brother sees that I'm down in the chat, and he asked me if I can go on the live stream with him. I said, yeah, go ahead. So he puts me on the live stream. He's got a lot of confidence in me because I was a concrete foreman for many years. I was his foreman. I taught him how to work. Now he owns his own company, but this is years and years ago. And he says, what advice would you give this young man? And that's a really interesting situation that he's got going on, because obviously he's a good worker, and I'll tell you why I know he's a good worker. Years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, a manager, and she tells me, my brother used to work at this company and they fired him for being 5 minutes late. And I was working at that same company at the time, and I know they're not going to fire you for being 5 minutes late. If they fired you for being 5 minutes late, there was more issues. So I told her, let me stop you for a minute. I told her there was more than being 5 minutes late, because when you're a good worker, they're not going to fire you for being 5 minutes late. I already know that. Most companies, there's companies that are really strict, but a lot of the trades, a lot of different types of works like that, they may not fire you because if you're good enough, they won't fire you for that. They're not going to like it, but they're not going to fire you because you're late once in a while. But if there's something going on, then they'll use that as an excuse to get rid of you. But that's not usually the reason. If you're a good worker, they won't fire you because you're late. And I told this young man, when he puts me up on the chat, I tell him, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen down the road. I'm not going to try and change your mind right now. I'm just going to give you the scenario of what's going to happen, and you decide if you want to change your habits or not. And I understand he's early 20s. It's really hard to get up. It's really hard to go to bed on time because, got video games and friends and parties and stuff like that. So it's really hard to get up on time. And it becomes a habit that, well, I'm late and they haven't fired me, so they'll never fire me. And so that becomes a habit. And he knows that the company needs him, or that crew needs him. Of course, there's companies that are really strict on those policies and they'll fire him. But sometimes in the trade, they're not as strict, or depending on, different types of work. And I tell him, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I tell him, one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna realize, that guy over there that owns that new company, I trained him. When he started here, I trained him. And this guy that's my superintendent, he started and I trained him. My foreman, it doesn't really know that much. He relies on me. So I trained him. And one day you're going to realize all these guys that you're criticizing are the ones making the money, and you're still the worker. What happened is that you became that step. You became the step that everybody used to advance. You were the good worker, and they kept you as a worker. Nobody loved it that you were late, but they'll tolerate you. I was a foreman, and I had guys that were late, and I could tolerate them because they were good enough that I wouldn't fire them because they were late. I knew they were going to show up. They were just late. But this is, I told them, this is what you're going to realize, one day when you wake up and you're an older man and you're still that worker. And you're not the one making the money. The guys making the money are long gone. They got, other stuff. They're your foreman, your supervisor, your superintendent, whatever. I told them, what happens is when that opportunity came up, you guys were on the same crew. You were better than the other guy. You're a better worker, but not reliable. When the opportunity came up, they gave it to him, because if a company's going to expand and they're going to put a new foreman, or your foreman's quitting and then they need to replace him, it's going to be the guy that's reliable, the guy that's there on time, the guy that can have the truck, the guy that can have the blueprints, and he's going to be there on time. He'll be first thing in the morning. He'll be there before everybody else. That's the guy that's going to get it. Now, you're the good worker. They'll keep you around. They'll use you. You'll be that step that everybody uses because they're going to rely on your work. And they'll keep you around. They may not fire you, but you won't get those opportunities. One day you're going to realize everybody around me has got the opportunities, and I'm still the worker. I'm the best worker they've ever had, but they never gave me an opportunity to move up. That's the reason. It's really important. It's a really important discipline to be the first one there. In the morning when all the planning's going on, you're not even there. Now you're gonna show up. You're gonna walk into this job site. You can pick up your tools, and you know what you're doing, and they'll leave you alone. They'll let you do that, but you won't get the opportunity. You're gonna realize one day, man, everybody used me. I was just everybody's step. Now I'm the best worker they've ever had. How come I never got moved up? That's the reason. You were not reliable. If you can't be the first one at the job site, you can't be the foreman. There's no possibility. They'll give you the truck. They'll give you the blueprints. They'll give you the keys. They can't because you're late. And that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a lot in the long run. And that's what I told this kid. I don't know if words at this point are going to make that much of a difference, because I know what's going on in his life. He can't get up on time maybe. And, it's really hard when you're really young for some kids to go to bed early and get up, be on time. But unfortunately, there's going to be a price to pay. So in this video, that's my message. That discipline of being there on time is really, really important. If you don't have it, you're going to see that the guys that do have it, they're going to move up, they're going to move up, they're going to move up. And you're still going to be the best worker on that crew, but you're going to be making much less money. And you have a lot of wasted years because you couldn't have that discipline of being there on time. Anyways, I hope this video doesn't offend anybody. If it offends you, go to bed earlier and be there on time. That's all I can say. I'll see you guys in the next video.